drunk somehow usually is involved in my few random sex stories. My dumbest way is also my luckiest, which was meeting a random person's wife through a friend by chance and putting no effort into trying to get laid at all, which also was helped by booze. As in, my best friend is first cousins with a guy who was known mostly as B-movie or smaller projects type actor his whole life since he started in films fairly young, but when he hit his mid-30s sort of blew up for a while and became pretty popular and known because of one specific character on a super famous, and terrible, sitcom. Anyway, I befriended him for a while and we hit it off as we both played tennis fairly regularly, and right before he got next level famous he asked me to be in a threesome with him and his wife, who is also a fairly known, though less so, actress. His wife was beautiful and I'm not a super sexually adventurous guy at all, but after a ton of drinks one night I went back to their place and had sex with his wife, though he just ended up watching and masturbating from the end of the bed. I focused on her and didn't look over at him because it creeped me out a bit. Probably wouldn't do it again, but I enjoyed it at the time because 1, I was drunk, and 2, his wife was very enthusiastic and did things that were new to me but I really liked. Despite the crazy circumstances how I knew them, they were both actually pretty normal and nice. Like 2 years later, after I hadn't talked to them that whole time, they mailed me a $200 gift certificate to a sushi restaurant out of nowhere. What's it called when you come immediately upon vaginal entry? Like not even 1 to 2 pumps. Asking for a friend. Efficiency. You've killed me. High quality comment right here. Ready, fire, aim. 1 pump shump. I hooked up with a co-worker at a rave and had sex with her in the backseat of a Honda Civic in Austin. She cried for an hour after that because her father abused her. I did not know that. The next day at work she was totally fine. Let's make this a commercial for the new Honda Civic. Rave. Party hard. Drugs. Fucking your co-worker in a Honda Civic. Father. Abuse. Crying. Next day in the office, awkward looking to the ground when you pass each other. Total shot of you stirring your coffee. The monotonous BSSSSS of the lighting BSSSS along. A short smirk comes across your face. Honda. The power to surprise. I was taking care of a professor's kitten, Mr. Milk, and another student was as well. There was a schedule. Somehow we got crossed up and ended up there at the same time, and a night later we were banging. The old pussy bait. How's Mr. Milk now? Accidentally ended up on a Valentine's date last year. Was just looking for people to go to karaoke with. She asked what I was doing on Thursday last year. I said karaoke and asked if she wanted to go. She said sure if we could get dinner first. Realized a day later I'd just agreed to a proper date, so booked a fancy restaurant. She wanted to get shots afterwards. I was like cool, karaoke bar is a few blocks away, but she insisted on some bar in the party district. Shots do nothing to me, but she got terped up and started macking me, then told me to invite her back to her place. I did, but part of me was like, but we haven't even gone to karaoke. Some 20 years ago I was at the university. At a party I got into a conversation with a girl about the latest book in Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series. Far from being a turn-off and showing what a massive geek I am/was, that girl actually loved the Wheel of Time and other fantasy novels. One thing led to another and we ended up doing the naked conga at my place. Never thought my love for fantasy novels would get me laid. The sad part is that, at the time, your conception of sex was to literally do the naked conga. The wheel rolls as the wheel turns, my dude. We all have tavern days. I was out boating, drinking heavily, from early morning till around 5 p.m. when I got home. It was my brother's boat, so when we all got back to his house I called it and said I was going home to drink water and hope to sleep off this terrible intoxication. He decides to go for round 2 on a different lake. His, now wife, and one of her friends decided to stay home because they too tried to hydrate themselves with booze all day long. I go home, 3 blocks down from my brother's place, and as soon as my head hits that pillow the friend sends me a text that reads, "If you come back here I'll suck you sober." Needless to say, I returned with a quickness to find her still awake awaiting my return. As promised, she blew me for longer than I thought she would before I pounded that pussy like it owed me money. Funny part is I never knew she liked me like that. I had definitely picked up a vibe here and there. She wasn't even really flirting with me that day. What can you do?